This is the Classic Auto Mall Show. Broadcast from the studios inside the Classic Auto Mall in Morgantown, Pennsylvania. Just 1 hour west of Philadelphia at Pennsylvania Turnpike exit 298. Featuring nearly 1,000 classic, vintage, and barn-find vehicles for sale under one climate-controlled roof. Now, here's your host, Classic Auto Mall president and the man with all the toys, Stewart Howden.
And welcome to show number 217. Finally, Steve's back after lollygagging on. Where were you?
1 week I take.
You go to Berkeley. You see a lot of
yeah,
Volkswagens?
Unfortunately, I had to go to Berkeley, but lots of cars.
Lots of cars. Lots of Volkswagens, right? We'll talk about that in the second segment, right? So how many cars in inventory right now? Steve will go first this week.
Ooh, okay. I saw one last week, even when I wasn't here. Yeah, that's pretty cool. So I'll say one, Bob. One?
Yeah.
Nice.
How many for you?
I'll say two.
All right, great. 9:15. JR wins.
I actually was going to say 9:14.
Oh, sure.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That would have been impressive.
That would have been very
woulda,
impressive.
coulda, shoulda.
Yeah, exactly. So let's get right to our guest. Joining us from Watkins Glen area, Don Burlew, president of the Watkins Glen International Raceway. My goodness, I love that. I would love to have a business card that said that.
Wait, I'll share maybe.
Please do.
Thanks for having me on.
Thanks so much for being on. I know you're busy, and we wanted to talk to you, and we've been wanting to. Watkins Glen is one of my favorite tracks, and I don't say that to every track president that we have on the show. So
I feel privileged.
Yes, thank goodness. So it's a wonderful place. So I've been there a number of times to the NASCAR race. I've been to the Historics up there. I've been to the Porsche Club meet up there, and it's arguably the most beautiful setting in all of racing. I don't know where you'll find a prettier place.
We do have a spectacular view. You know, I tell people all the time, you can see the lake, and they actually are like, seriously? And I'm like, yes, you can see the lake on a crystal morning. In the evening, you can see it all. We're 3 miles from the, Seneca Lake, so it's actually a spectacular view from our Glen Club and our Argetsinger stands.
Sure. Well, and I think that the history of the track is so fascinating from its beginning in late 1940s, running through the streets and then to the permanent track when I guess everybody decided maybe might be a little safer to be on a more enclosed environment, right?
Right. Yeah. But in 1957, they built the track up here, and we've just continued to grow the facility. We're just shy of 2,000 acres now.
Wow.
The majority of it's all fenced in. Yeah, we are a big property.
Yeah, that's a lot to mow. So
it is, you don't ever get to the beginning 7 days a week. Day 5, you need to be back at gate 2 to start all over.
Yeah, I would imagine so. So you've been in part of the area for 40 years. You worked for Corning Glass, which people don't know is very close to there, which used to own the track, right?
Correct. Yep. So Corning had the track in the early 80s, and really, they decided that Jim Respect, which is an icon in the industry as well as for Corning, decided that they really needed an economic driver in the community, and what better way to do it was something that was right here in our backyard, right. Which is one of the, it's one of the many things that Corning has done for the community. They're passionate about healthcare and education and the social aspect of our community. So the Glen is one of the big projects they jumped in and took under and decided that they'd open it back up, and it was a pretty good endeavor. And, then they joined with ISC in the mid 80s, and, look where we are today.
Yeah. Just an amazing scenario with, you've got IMSA's running there. You've got, obviously NASCAR, which is huge. That had to be a huge impact to the area NASCAR was there in the 50s, but to have it in the modern era, must have been a huge advantage to you guys.
It sure was. That's what the big draw was. It would fill the stands, as it still does, was our NASCAR. The Bodon family was right there from Chemung, New York, which is, 20 miles down the road. So there was connections and always has been connections. And then when you run they used to run the Indy cars, and then we picked up IMSA, which has been a huge success for us in a growing industry. This year we broke off Trans Am from our SBRA and our Vintage, which was successful. And then our car club. So, from the first week in April to the first week in November, we're busy 7 days a week. We're flat out, which is pretty incredible when you think about it being in the Northeast with the weather we have. But that's the beauty of it.
Sure. And you also, and it's not just the racing season. You also rent out the track from time to time, probably a whole lot, to clubs and groups and that type of thing as well too. What a great thing for a corporate retreat to go up there and run the racetrack and do things like that.
We do. We just had a really interesting. So we do track rentals. That's what the majority of our busy time is track rentals, and we don't have our competition in, which is why we run 7 days a week.
Right.
We had an interesting one a couple of weeks ago. A gentleman drove from Alaska, believe it or not. It was a bucket list, drove from Alaska to take part in a weekend. And interestingly enough, I said, God, that's a long way to haul your car. And I got the response, I didn't know how my car drove it.
Drove it.
And I kind of did a double take.
Sure.
I was like, you drove your car? And he said, absolutely. He said, it was on my bucket list. And I drove it here, and I drove and participated, and best thing we could have done.
Oh,
and you know what? How could you be on somebody's bucket list to do something like that?
Absolutely.
But he had an incredible weekend, and we sent him a farewell off to Alaska, and God, we hope he comes back.
Yeah, he'll be home in 3 weeks, right? So we literally were going to ship a car here just in the past couple of weeks to Alaska, and I think it was like to drive it was like 72 hours or something.
Mm-hmm.
But
like 4,500 miles or something.
But that's
dedication.
Yeah, and passion, and that's the kind of thing that makes all this fun to do. What we do and what you do, whether it's racing or classic cars or collectible cars or special interest cars, the passion is what drives all of us in this business, hobby, industry, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, it sure does.
And we
have people that come every day.
Yeah, exactly. Well, people, I would imagine people just come there even when nothing's going on just to see it and be in its presence.
We built a new office building right at the corner just past Gate 2 about a year and a half ago and opened it up. And every day people come and they'll knock on the door and say, can we just take a picture? And we're like, come on in.
Come on in.
And we actually let them in, and they take pictures. And I cannot tell you how many times people say, we just want to be able to say we were at the Glen.
Right.
And there's a lot of international folks because they'll travel, into like Philadelphia or New York, and they're on their way to Toronto or Buffalo. So they jump off and they come visit us for a couple hours. And we hear that every week.
I think you've got something special when people come there just to say that they've been there, not to participate in any event or anything like that. And the foreign aspect is, because the Formula One raced there until 1980 or 81, right?
Right.
And of course, they were all, Europe. A lot of them were Europe. Not all of them. A lot of European drivers were. So the Glen holds a fond place in people's hearts, I believe, worldwide.
No, it sure does. It's interesting you say that. When I used to travel for Corning, a lot of people didn't know Corning, New York. But if you said, "Oh, I'm close to Watkins Glen International," they'd go, "Know exactly where it is." So if you were anywhere in Europe, that was my point of reference as to where I was from was the track.
Yeah, there's nothing worse than being from a town that nobody's heard of.
Exactly.
It's like, where are you from? I'm from so-and-so. You're like, okay, nothing. We always try to ask people where they're from here, and you always hope for something interesting in response, or something that not somewhere that you've never heard of, and you go, I have nothing to go on with here now.
So that's it. People ask me that because I'm from the area.
Sure.
I've grown up here, and I was lucky enough to come, go to college and come back and be part of the community my entire career. So I think that's one of the beauties of being in the position is it's very easy to talk about your home community if you've been here your whole life. And something I'm passionate about is racing, and my other passion is horses. So I get to do both of them by being here.
If you add boating, you got the trifecta right there, right? With the lakes.
I do. So that's the nice thing. We can just drop down on the lake after work some nights, and that's pretty special in itself. Yeah,
I'm jealous. We have to drive an hour and a half either way to get to where we're going to our boating area. So, it's one of those things that you don't realize how good you got it until you don't got it.
You're absolutely right.
So you were hired in 2024, last year, right, as the president of the Watkins Glen International Raceway. And I got to imagine there's not many female presidents of racetracks in the country, are there?
No, there's not. I've got 4 colleagues that were all fairly new into the position in the last few years. I'm the newest. Actually, we have the newer one this year that took over the San Diego race, just joined us when we announced that. So no, it's a new initiative. I think part of it is there's just more of us that are stepping up to the plate.
Yeah.
And not just to saying, it's always been a dominant world, but there's nothing we can't do, and I think that's been the beauty of it. Is there's a huge team of folks out there that have been doing this for a long time, and I will tell you, when I the very first meeting after I met with leadership, I left that afternoon and went back to home. Went to my husband and said, "I'm retiring. This is going to be my new gig.
I like it.
I'm going to do a 180." I loved what I did, but to have this type of opportunity in my backyard, and it just fit my fabric, and I've not looked back.
Well, the great thing is that the core of the business was there. And so, and to have a different perspective, whether it's male, female, racer, non-racer, whatever, it doesn't matter, because different perspectives are always great for any business.
Right. And so I think that's it. And being able to know the track, because I've been part of it and doing things with it for a number of years, then you have you kind of check the community box because you live here. And the whole thing is you bring a fresh set of eyes of what can we do with the track differently?
Right.
How can we utilize it differently? How can we produce our events different? And not just provide as I would say, a cookie cutter type of event. Give it a refresh, a new spice to it.
Yeah.
And that's been very welcoming. The leadership has said, "Hey, that's what we're looking for.
Sure.
We have a new generation of fans, and how do we keep that growing?"
Yeah, and people don't realize this, but you're fighting for entertainment dollars from every aspect, from a concert to a sporting event to everything that people can go and spend their extracurricular money on. You're competing against, so you've got to step up and say, "Hey, we've got to do like you're doing concerts." I'm not saying you're just started that, but you've been doing that for a while. Use the facility. Right? It's there. It doesn't cost you any more to use it or not use it.
No, and that's one of the initiatives when I took this on is we have to, make the community, or as I say, the rings of support, which is anywhere from 1 to 2 hours where people will say, "Hey, it's a Friday night. We can go someplace. Let's go do this, go for dinner, whatever." Is we need them to realize that they could come to the track, that it was approachable, that it wasn't a scary place.
Right.
If you can get folks here for an event, a bike night, a concert, any type of event like that, they're going to realize that once they come in here that it's not a scary place, that it's not overwhelming,
right.
that it's actually pretty magical when you come inside that gate and you get to hear cars and you see how big it is, that they'll come back for one of our majors because they're going to want to see what happens here at those larger events.
Sure.
So we've been pretty successful to get a lot of new fans here, locals and people from, like I say, that 1 to 2 hour range, which is where we need to strengthen our fan base.
Yeah, and the more you can have people understand and are aware of what you do and how you do it, because you'd be surprised how probably people just over the mountain don't know what you do sometimes. And that happens with us here too, that people go, "Oh, I've heard of your place and it's this, that, or that. 10 things that are wrong about it," they'll tell you. And you say, "No, come see it. Let me give you the nickel tour." And that's what makes the
You say, "You ever stop in?" And they kind of go, "Oh, I had that happen last year. I went to a school program," which, we have 2 major school districts less than 5 miles away. Said, "How many of you students have been to the to the Glen?" And like 2 out of 21 raised their hand. And I was like,
and you're
wow.
like, ha.
That's kind of a wake up call to say, "Okay, we're not doing something right."
Yeah.
One, we're not letting the students know, but we're obviously missing the mark with their parents. What are we not doing to get these parents to bring their kids to one of the largest venues, that's in their backyard? But we have something for everybody.
Right. Well,
so we needed to really relook at how we were integrating in our community in multiple ways.
Yeah, we experience that a lot too. You just got to educate people about what you do and how you do it. And of course, it's wonderful. Do you have karting programs at Watkins Glen?
I'm sorry?
Karting?
No, we don't.
See, that's the thing that we've always talked about, that Europe has always had the upper hand with the United States when it came to karting and the feeder programs into racing.
Right. We've talked about that. One thing that we did this year that we, our Hooked on Driving event over 4th of July weekend, they added drifting in, which we had never done.
How'd that go?
And one time. Huge hit.
Yeah.
So waiting line all day long. People absolutely loved it. And they were more intrigued by it. And so a couple of weeks ago, we did an Embers and Engines on a Saturday evening with campfires and music and stuff. And we got an incredible turnout for drifting again.
Right.
So I think we found a local niche market to get people to experience the track. And I had a family, literally a father with 3 little ones, that said, "God, we've never been to the track and we live 15 minutes from here." And he goes, "We'll be back next summer for events."
Yeah.
Now I understand what you guys do. So
things can be
it's up to us to
intimidating.
educate folks.
It can be intimidating. I mean, to go to places you've never been. I remember walking into a dealership out in California that sold exotic cars, and I'm not supposed to be in here. I felt like that. And then they welcomed you in, and it was like, okay, now I feel like I'm part of the club. Well,
and that's what we've spent a lot of time doing, is having people in at all different, events, all different levels. Sister cities programs we've been doing with the schools. We have one tomorrow again, which has been super successful for us. They're, again, educating our international students what they can do, and they can come back.
Sure.
As well as our local students.
And I know that internship is a spot that you like. I know that you started at Corning as an intern, right? I did. And so I would imagine you're continuing that trend into Watkins Glen's, the racetrack as well, right?
I am. So while I was at Corning, I was an intern, which is how I ended up staying at Corning.
Right.
At the end of it, they hired me, so I stayed. Luckily, I loved it. And so through the years, I've been part of intern programs, and I greatly support them. I think they're a huge way to get our young people to realize what they have in their community and what the opportunities are. They just sometimes need doors opened. We have actually 2 young men that are local right now. Both of them are off at universities and have come back and created what I believe both of them will end up being in the motorsports industry for life.
Sure.
I think one may move from the area just because they'd like to get some experience in some other tracks and things like that. The other one, I think, will probably really likes our track and will stay and move up through the system. But we have brought them on since they were seniors in high school.
Right.
And now they're juniors, sophomores and juniors in college. And we keep coming back and doing programming for us. So they're, again, creating our own workforce is one of the things we need to do. And one program that we're doing now with our local 9th graders, and we have 60 of them in the program this year. It's an 8-month program. And each month, we kicked it off in October, and it will end with our IMSA event. And the cherry on top of this is that these students, if they complete the program with them and one guest, will attend IMSA.
Oh, nice. Yeah, nice little. That's a nice
program. We go into the schools once a month. So the first one is like, what is the president's role? What is the leadership role at the track? And like, how did you get in this gate? Mm-hmm. I didn't come from motorsports. I came from a business, political background type of environment. And then each one we have a module for every month, from accounting to security to culinary, ticketing, social media, marketing. And they're going to produce something every month. And then we're relating it to, so if they have a homecoming program or spring dance or any type of thing like that, and retail, then at the end of that, they'll be able to understand what it takes to put on one of these events. And then they're going to be able to attend one of our events.
That's fantastic.
So we're piloting the program. The school district has endorsed it through their superintendent and their guidance program, because it's a big commitment to get 60 kids into the program once a month. And we're pretty excited about it. And then the idea would be is once we're done, it will be a template that I can give other track presidents, and we can take it to other communities.
Because you're under the NASCAR umbrella of ownership, right? They own your track.
One of the 14 tracks.
14, yep. Golly, 14. But it's great. I mean, if you start out at one, you could always switch to another or go to. That's the nice thing about it. And of course, the amount of staffing that these things take to put on a big weekend event has got to be overwhelming. I mean, that must have been one of the most overwhelming things that you were facing when you started, right?
It's pretty crazy. So a full-time staff, we have 24, and that includes everything from marketing, ticketing, finance, accounting, ops, maintenance. And that's what's, that's our core team. And then, we get up to 100, 150 or more when we hit our stride during our busy season for our major events. This year it'll be much earlier because our Cup event is in May.
Right.
So we'll pull a large number of those folks in early to get the property ready.
So you've gone from the race was in August, right? And now
Correct.
You've moved to May. And this is the first year that it's going to be in May?
Correct.
Oh, get that dumped on your plate, right?
So we're excited about it. The challenge for us, as everybody has talked about, is May can be very of crazy weather. Right. Maybe it could be super weather. It's kind of like October. May and October can be just absolutely beautiful weather, or they can just be a little chilly. But we're going to go on the warm and nice, and we'll be ready. We have a couple different plans we're implementing. We're stockpiling things now to be ready, so we don't have to worry about them getting delivered. Next spring, we're doing landscaping plans a little different because of the early time frame. We're working with our local Amish and Mennonite groups to grow early flowers for us.
Absolutely.
So
yeah, you don't have, well, we have mums this time of year around here, so they're great for decorating and doing events like that. And it's funny how things that you don't think about in a change like that from a different season can change the dynamics of things, and it changes probably the tuning of the cars and all of that in a technical side of it.
That's right, because the track could be cold. I mean, the track could be colder, so they could. They can practice it one time and it could be a certain, a temperature. And then the next afternoon or next morning when they run, it could be a different temperature, which of course will give a different reaction. And we deal with fog up here that time of year.
Yeah.
So we're, Lord knows we can't do anything about fog either. But, there's a lot of factors that we've got on our radar and that we'll work with. And as I always say, we've got to be nimble and look at Plan B, and you may implement Plan C.
Yeah,
but that's just part of running a facility and promoting a major events like this.
It's good. You get complacent when things are just kind of status quo forever and ever and ever, and it's nice to have a little change for you. It's good for you, right?
Yeah.
It may not always feel that way.
Brings a little excitement to the day.
Exactly. And of course, literally everybody that you talk to that's ever raced or been to or understands Watkins Glen, they feel as if it's the spiritual home of road racing. And you've got the IMRRC right there in your backyard too, which is an amazing organization. I've been to a couple of the dinners here in the past couple of years, and
nice.
What an archive that they have, and what a great thing. And I guess they're looking to expand their building now as well.
They are. We're actually looking to expand that building to be on North Franklin Street, right kitty corner from the Harbor Hotel, which is a major draw to the community and right close to the lake. And there again, the reasoning is one, we've basically outgrown the facility for storage, but I think there'd be a lot more people that would visit the facility if they could find it and really get an experience what road racing brought to our community. I mean, we have the flags, and we have our checkered flags downtown, our crosswalks are, printed and up all the time. And we have our sidewalk markers and things like that. And people actually follow the path. And every day somebody drives the old course because that's still marked. And that's pretty cool. And when they're driving it. So I think by moving Emmerich to, the major street, I think will be a huge boost for that organization.
Sure.
And it's got a lot of history there.
Yeah. And that's a tough business, tougher business to be in than people realize. I mean, it's, you're constantly fighting for dollars, and budgets are tough, and it's, you got to constantly fundraise.
Yes. And that's one of their primary fundraisers is usually a car every year. Porsche, Corvette. This year they've got a Corvette that they're doing. But that's what makes it. And I'll tell you that the research they do is incredible.
Yeah.
They've got some pretty dedicated people to do the research that people that are looking for.
And they help a lot with guys who are restoring historic cars for historic racing, which is my favorite. I love the historics just because the variety of cars that you see. When you go to NASCAR, they all, they kind of sort of look the same. And, but historics is, everything from, a little 2-liter small car to the 917 Porsches and all the ones that you see. Oh, it's amazing to watch that type of racing.
Our SBRA weekend in September, after we do that, we have the Grand Prix event downtown on Friday night where we run the old course, which is usually a few hundred cars that run the old course on Friday night.
So cool.
And then we have a car show downtown, and then we have another one up here on Saturday. And it's just amazing, the cars that come in. And a lot of them come in being hauled in because, solid carriers, and some are open. But it's just amazing the passion people have, and they just want to talk about or tell you the story about their car.
Well, it's guys that maybe, couldn't afford to race back in the day who now have become successful and have a little extra income to buy something, and it's funny to watch them start out and then they kind of move up the ladder as they go. So, wonderful event. It's a wonderful way to keep people engaged, and the families can participate in it as well.
Yes, it's a big family event. People come and spend the weekend with us. They spend, Friday night, all day Friday and Friday night downtown. And then Saturday and Sunday, they come up and spend the weekend with us. It's a great weekend.
Well, and you guys you sell experiences. I mean, that's the whole thing about what you do, whether it's the camping, that tradition that people have been doing with their families for 30, 40, however many years. That's important, and the heritage of it.
I always tell people when they ask me about camping, they said, "Oh, it's crazy." And I'm like, No, it's just like a different neighborhoods. I mean, we have,
Right.
4,000 campsites, and each section is a different neighborhood.
Right.
And those folks have been camping next to each other and passed it down from family to family, but they have made it their own neighborhood. And it's pretty cool to drive around and see the uniqueness of all of them and the fun that they have.
And some of the campers nowadays are, they're luxury hotels on wheels.
Yeah, they are.
So
They sure are.
do you, when you're not at the track and you're not thinking about racing, does your mind wander into things that could happen there and could be different and things that you could do at the track that would make it more useful? Because that's 2,000 acres, you said, right?
We are.
I mean, I had no idea it was that big.
It does. So, I mentioned earlier that my other passion is horses. So my daughter and I compete with our horses. And so when I go to major events like that, I'm always looking at, God, could we do this at the track? Could we do something, a spin-off of this, of something that they're doing at the competition? And, I was at Martinsville this past weekend and picked up a few things that said, we could do that at the Glen, and it would be new and it would be pretty cool. People would enjoy it.
It's fun to see what
so
the competition's doing, right?
Exactly. You have to. I mean, major sports events are the same way. You look at the flow of traffic, you look at egress, you look at how are they servicing their fans when it comes to, hospitality. At the end of the day, everybody's there doing the same thing. They love the sport that they're attending and the food that they're doing. So how do we, capitalize on some subject matter expertise in other areas? I do it all the time.
Yeah, in any type of business you go to, you can think about it. I mean, I go to these events, and especially motor racing events, and the ones that are really running on all 12 cylinders are the ones that they don't have a long line for the food. There's a line, but it's not so long, because you watch people get in line at a food and beverage scenario at any kind of sporting event, and you see them get out of line, and you think, well, there's probably a lost sale because it took too long or whatever it is. And it's not easy to do and plan for.
No, and there again, it's moving around the property and being nimble and looking at, what's the flow, what's the timing of the race, how are people moving, and that's just part of it. Getting people in, scanning and security and things like that, because that can make somebody's day or break somebody's day as being, as a fan experience. And that, at the end of the day, we want them to come back. So the best experience is if we're out and about and experiencing it, and we're feeling a pain point, then our fans are feeling a pain point.
Yeah. Yeah, I take it personally, negative feedback. I know I'm not supposed to, but it's hard not to, though. And you can't not read it, and it'll make you crazy. My phone goes off at 4:00 in the morning and somebody's leaving a review, and I'm like, oh, I don't want to look at this, but I can't not look at it.
I know exactly. I wake up and it says, "Oh, we're out of soap in this restroom," and I'm like, hey, "How did that happen?"
Yeah. Well, don't we have par levels and all these sheets and forms, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. So,
exactly.
I imagine you can't say enough about the Argetsinger family and what they've meant to racing in Watkins Glen. I mean, they started it and they're still participating and involved in it, right?
They sure are, and actually. We just had an event the other day where the family was there at our Spirit of Schuyler, which is a non-for-profit organization that helps the folks that get in a tough time financially. And and he got up and he presented and he said, this is just what it's all about. Right. This is what our community has been all about. We've been knitted together because of our love and passion for racing and for cars in our community. And the next step is how do we continue to take care of our community through the things that we do. I see them at the IMRIC meetings, and it's just you can't replace families like that started. Look at the industry that family started. Yeah,
in a hard to imagine part of the world. It wasn't easy to get to Watkins Glen in the 50s. There wasn't a port there, right? Or unless I missed something.
Right. So, no.
Yeah. So I imagine, being involved in this, you got every friend wants free tickets and to meet all the famous drivers, right?
That's the question of that's usually who's going to be there this week? Who's going to be there? And we're busy. That's what my usually is. We're busy. We got track rentals. We have folks in.
Yeah. It's like owning a restaurant. You're going to go broke if you give all your friends free meals, right?
Exactly.
So
Yep, you're on the same page.
do you have a favorite type of racing? Do you prefer NASCAR over vintage or vintage IMSA, or do you have a particular, or are they all your favorite children?
I don't have a favorite.
Right.
It really just depends on who it's. I don't mind going over and watching them when they're here. For some of the clubs are here. They
Sure.
give you some pretty good racing. The truck races have brought a ton of visibility, and they're pretty interesting to watch.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't really have one single favorite.
So we were talking about this the other day in one of our meetings with our staff about the social media and how it's grown and become such a part of everything that everybody does, and AI and all of that. Your social media platform has got to be crazy. I mean, I would imagine that it's a full-time job and then some.
It is. So we have some folks that work for us out of Charlotte and Daytona that manage it. Then we also have, I would say, a half a person here that
Right.
keeps up, Instagram and Facebook and X and everything else. And part of it is the world of sports or anything else is always in your hand.
Right.
And so we have found that by keeping people updated and raising the energy level with some pretty interesting photos and videos, is really what keeps people coming. We did a video last year of one of our trucks out on the track in a snowstorm.
How cool.
We hooked it up. I hooked up like a GoPro on the front fender
Right.
and did some really cool video out on the track. And I will tell you, it was one of our most viewed videos.
Isn't that amazing?
In the middle of the winter.
In the middle
It was
of the
like
winter.
10 degrees out.
But sometimes thinking way outside the box like that is exactly what you need in order to get people's attention.
Right. And so we tend to do some things like that to get people to say, oh, it might be winter or it might be the end of the season, but gosh, look what they're doing up there.
Well, I would imagine that in racing or concerts or anything that you do, pre-sale tickets are king. I mean, that gives you such a barometer of what's going to happen.
We do. And I will tell you the 10-day weather forecast. I mean, living in the Northeast, people live by the 10-day weather forecast. So we have come to realize in the past, year or so, that's what holds our tickets is that forecast.
Yeah.
Once it gets out there, then people are like, okay, we can pretty much trust it. We're gonna go. Our walk up is huge for our NASCAR weekend.
Right. Yeah, waiting for that last. I tell you, we watch that Weather Channel when we do an event here, and it just drives you crazy. It's as bad as the social media. I mean, I'm just constantly checking it. It's like, didn't I just check it 5 minutes ago, and I don't even remember what it said 5 minutes ago?
Yeah, there was no green on there before. Right?
Oh no, there's a speck of green over there. I don't. So one of the things that was interesting to me is that before you came on board, they had repaved the track almost down to dirt in 2015. I hope that's not something you got to do on any kind of regular basis, right? That's got to be hopefully once every whenever.
I hope. I was part of the. I worked on that project in my prior position, so that is a massive project.
Wow!
And so no, we are in great shape. Again, when we have track rentals every day, our track is hot every morning by 8:30,
Sure.
and runs that way until 5:30 at night. So the maintenance of it is incredible. Just to keep it up so we don't have to do a repave in the near future.
Sure.
That's super important to us because that's not a low-cost project.
No, not at all. And not something, I mean, it takes time. I can't imagine it's something that you could almost have to time it just perfectly. And then you got the weather to deal with that as well, too. So. Well,
exactly. And in our case, we'd have to forego some of our track rentals, which means we'd have to displace them. And once you displace folks, it's hard to get them back, as you know.
Isn't that, it's so true.
Nobody wants to do that.
Yeah, it's so true in every walk of business. You displace somebody as a restaurant, as a museum, as whatever it is, it's very, very difficult. You lose a percentage that never come back.
Right. And so that's why it's critical for us to maintain and keep our level of maintenance up and our safety measures and things like that. So we do a lot of that, and we do it all ourselves.
Sure.
So,
yeah.
That's a busy staff.
I would imagine so. So I wish I'd have met you sooner because I could have asked you the question that I want to ask you next. And is why didn't somebody tell me that when you do the waterfall tour in Watkins Glen, you start at the top and work your way down, not the other way?
Trust me, if you had asked me, I would say definitely start at the top.
Yeah, I didn't know that existed. So, well, it's been wonderful to have you on the show. And one last question before we go. My favorite question to ask all of my guests is, what's your daily driver?
My daily driver. believe it or not, I drive a Tahoe.
Nice. Well, I that part of the world with that kind of weather, you got to have
It
something.
is.
You got to be practical.
It's a great one. So, but I will tell you, I am a little car buff. So
Right.
I also have a Raptor.
Oh, nice.
I have a 2-seater. I have a BMW Z3.
All right. My producer Steve has one of those.
I do. I have a Jeep Wrangler. So I'm a little and an Expedition. So I'm
Right.
kind of one of those folks that it's my flavor of the day, as my husband says.
Well, and like I said, you got to be somewhat practical in that part of the world because you do probably get a little more winter than they do down in the South.
We do. So I literally in the morning I'm like, this one.
Yeah.
I'm over this one and I'm going.
So you need to go set a Raptor lap record. You need to go out there on the track and see what that Raptor will really do.
You're right. Probably I should.
Yeah, and then you just put it on a plaque somewhere in the office that says, no other Raptor will go this fast on the track, right?
That's true.
I like that.
That's
So
true.
it'll be my
Have fun.
idea. I like my name at the bottom of the plaque as well, too, okay?
Okay, I'll add that.
Dawn, thank you.
Suggested by.
Yeah. Thank you so much for being on the show today. We really appreciate it. I know you got busy, and we'll hopefully see you at one of your events there here in the near future.
Please do, and thanks for having me. Have a great day.
You
Thank
too.
you.
Take care. Bye-bye. We'll be back
Bye-bye.
with the Classic Auto Mall show in just a couple of minutes.
Whether you want to buy or sell a classic, collectible, or special interest vehicle, you need to visit the Classic Auto Mall website for more information. If you're looking to buy, you can easily search our inventory of more than 1,000 vehicles on the web at classicautomall.com.
And we're back with the Classic Auto Mall show from the Classic Auto Mall studio in Morgantown, Pennsylvania. Great guest, as always.
Oh, yeah.
Dawn
Wow.
Burlew, president of the Watkins Glen International Raceway. I mean, my goodness gracious.
Another dream
what a
gig.
cool gig. I told her I want her business card.
Plus, Watkins Glen's a cool little town.
It
too.
is.
Even if it didn't have a racetrack, it's
Yeah.
still a cool little mountain town.
And I wonder who first started calling it just the Glen.
Oh, yeah, that's
the
cool.
Glen.
Yeah, that's cool.
And I meant to ask you that. You know what a Glen is?
It's like
It's a narrow valley.
That's right. I was getting to it.
See, I tried to help you out there. I
I was gonna say canyon, but it's like a.
It's like the Grand Narrow Glen Valley Canyon.
Yeah, it's like the eastern version of the Western Canyon.
No, it's not. But anyway.
It's like Roman in the Gloman.
Yeah. So, hey, where did
Where do we sell cars to?
Where did we sell cars last week?
Where?
How about Orange, California?
Sure, why not?
How about Tomball, Texas, Garnet Valley, Pennsylvania, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, Corpus Christi, Texas, Birdsboro, Pennsylvania, Bensalem, New York, New Lenox, Illinois, East Earl, Pennsylvania, Medford, New Jersey, Westchester, Pennsylvania, Knoxville, Tennessee, Warrington, Pennsylvania,
Hey.
Valdosta, Georgia, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, Woodbury, New Jersey, Pensacola Beach, Florida, Alloway, New Jersey, Louisville, Texas, and York, Maine.
How about that?
All right.
Oh, so we had a pretty good week.
A little Warrington in there and a little Knoxville.
And a little
you.
Knoxville for you.
How about
So
that?
they're a little hometown. We're going to go, Kathy and I are going to go see a game in Knoxville.
Oh,
New
good.
Mexico State, which is nobody's ever heard of.
Is that cornhole
In-
game?
no,
What kind of game are you going to see?
we're going to the University of Tennessee football game.
Oh, football. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that'll be fun.
Yeah. Well, thanks. Glad we got your thumbs up on
That's
that.
right.
So, what else we doing this week? You just got back from a trip.
I did. Yeah.
How was that?
I did. I went to a
experience
wedding
with
in
traveling?
California. I went to Berkeley.
Saw a lot of Volkswagens.
A lot of Porsches, I saw a 356 on the road, on the
Right.
street. Literally the next minute, a Giulia SS, which I didn't even know existed.
Right.
But as soon as I passed it, I said, I got a video of this car. It's a 64, 65. They only made 1,400 of them. Jay Leno actually did a video on them a year ago or so,
Right.
and
Is that
absolutely unique.
Is it a 4-door?
It's a 2-door. I'll show you a picture of
Okay.
it. I'll send it to Randy and he
Yeah.
can put it up. Right on the street.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a super rare car. And then as I was filming it, other people started coming up and wondering what I was
What were you
filming.
filming?
And I'm
Right.
going, I don't know what this is, but it's super rare.
Well, because you look so professional with the iPhone. Isn't that funny nowadays that, iPhone could be doing a newscast. It could be doing just about anything.
movie,
the
yeah.
quality is
Yeah.
unbelievable with those things. So,
Yeah, I could have done 15 videos of cars on the street in Berkeley. And then of course, we go up to Marin County
Yeah.
where my wife is from and spend time up there.
Of course,
Just cars are everywhere.
You've also realized, too, that you better take a vacation that doesn't center around cars, like I've not learned to do yet either.
Oh, she knows we went around the block in Berkeley to get that Julia. I'm like, I gotta get this car.
Yeah, she's like, okay, great,
Yeah, right.
fantastic. I thought we were getting.
wanna go
right to that.
shopping.
Yeah.
Again.
Right.
Again and again
She
and
gets
again.
it. Hey.
Yeah, they should get it because it's part of what makes us happy. Indy, right?
That and birds.
How about the new arrivals this week? The 2005 Ford Mustang Roush Stage 1 convertible, torch red over medium parchment and red. It's got the aggressive Roush styling. It's unmistakable, isn't it?
It
see
is,
a
yeah.
Roush car. It's just got a look about it.
Got to look at it, and the Stage 1 obviously is a more cosmetic package.
Sure.
It's really cool looking.
300 horsepower, 4.6 liter, 3-valve V8, but 300 horsepower is not nothing.
No.
People, we have a tendency to think if it's not 500 or 600 horsepower, then, well, that's nothing to that.
It's good, man.
That's a lot of power.
It is.
And it's got the track lock axle, the 331, and it's convertible. So
however, the next car,
the 2007 Ford Shelby GT500 Super Snake.
takes it to the next level.
Not just a regular snake, it's a super snake.
Ooh.
And 6,173 actual miles on the torch red over charcoal black and red car. 725 horsepower, 5.8 liter double overcam V8. Tremec 6-speed manual. It's got the Ken Bell supercharger. That was factory, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's part of the snake package. Yeah.
This thing is showroom fresh.
It's when 500 horsepower isn't enough for you.
Yeah, 725 horsepower.
And what kind of vehicle is that again?
A Ford
Roush Mustang GT500 Super Snake.
Ooh.
I just wanted to do that. you really set me up for that one, JR.
Super Snake.
Super Snake. So next, but on the list is the 1980 Pontiac Firebird Trans Am. I like this color combination, cameo white over camel, which is what you painted your 79, not 80, but 79.
Yeah, straight white, like an idiot.
Refrigerator white, right?
Because the body shop said, listen, we could remove the eagle for you, and all the vintage, classic,
Stuff.
all the classic stuff.
Yeah.
Appliance white.
And this one is, of course, the 403 cubic inch V8, which is the one you didn't want. You wanted the 400 if you could get it, but in California, you couldn't get the 400.
Yeah, and interestingly, the 80s, the options were 301, 305, and 301 turbo. This guy put a 403 in it.
Yeah,
So
and it wasn't the original motor.
That's
so
right.
You couldn't. The last year for a 400 or the 403 was 1979.
Right.
And really, the ideal setting for the 1979 would be the 400 4-speed car.
Correct.
Not the 403. And you can tell the difference on the hood, on the graphics on the hood scoop. TA 6.6 means 400.
Yep.
6.6 liter means 403.
That is correct.
So, hey.
I'm partial to the 403 because that's what I have.
That's what you had. So, you like it even though if...
Slow.
It's the slowest.
Well, that's the whole thing. I thought it was fast. And then,
Exactly.
And then a friend handed me the
Showed you
keys to
wrong.
the Grand National, and I said, "Oh, okay."
Yeah, I thought I knew fast.
That's a whole new speed.
Yeah. This one is, but really a nice driver quality, this 1960 Trans Am. Next up on the list is the 1968 Chevrolet Camaro convertible, cyber gray metallic over black. This is a resto mod. And what is a resto mod? I think everybody knows that's listening. A resto mod is a car that's been changed for convenience, comfort, speed, and performance. Right?
Updated, yeah.
Updated. This one's 427 cubic inch LS3 stroker, Tremec 6-speed, 4-wheel disc brakes, leather, updated suspension, leather and suede seating. This car is really like a brand new car, and in a shell of a 1968.
Exactly. Exactly. It's got this awesome engine cover, like a matching engine cover to the paint. That's well done.
Yeah.
Well done.
Yeah, it's nice when people actually pay attention to the parts that you don't necessarily see on a regular basis. So next up is the 1957 Chevrolet Bel Air two-door hardtop, Matador red and India ivory, great color.
Yeah.
Over red and black interior, great color. One family owned since new.
Amazing.
How about that? With the 283 cubic inch 4-barrel on a Power Glide 2-speed automatic. It has a little Liberty, Willwood power front disc brakes. And show ready though. I mean, this car,
it's beautiful.
It's really a nice car and really well done. If you get a chance, if you're looking for one of those, a Tri-5 Chevy, it's one that you definitely should put on your list. And last but not least, the 2014 Chevrolet Corvette Z51 2LT Stingray Coupe. That's a long name. Cyber gray metallic over gray, 31,150 something actual miles, 6.2 liter LT1 V8. I don't know what the horsepower on those. I can imagine it's 450, 500. Tremec 7-speed manual.
It is a 7-speed manual.
Yeah, and this is a pampered ride, and it's got target tops, 2 of them.
2, 3, 4, 5.
Five,
That's a lot of shifting. Man. I know. I looked at the shifter yesterday after seeing this, and I'm like, wow, that's a lot.
And 2 target tops, 1 glass and one steel.
That's right, 2 top car.
Yeah, 2 tops. So that's the new inventory for the day. And so back to your trip, did you have a little interesting, how was your travel part? The airplane, the rental car. Let's hear some stories.
Well, if you're going 6.5 hours across the country west, because westbound it's more because you're in the wind's face, you expect like a comfortable plane, at least a few inches. My son and I figured that if they removed 3 rows from each side and gave everybody an extra 3 inches, it'd be like, I could not even open my laptop to work, unfortunately. Sorry, boss. During the trip, usually I get a couple cars written, it was so cramped. It's ridiculous. It doesn't make any sense to me. And then, you want something, cha-ching, everything's a charge.
I mean, would you pay $50 extra to have 3 more inches of space? I think I would.
I guess I've lesson learned. I mean, we were thinking about first class.
Yeah, until you price that.
We were like, this is another life.
Let's get another couple 100,000 subscribers to the show before we do that. Speaking of the show and subscribers, we are at 108,869 subscribers. 1 year ago today, we had 5,071. Nice. We've got 1,559 videos, and the views are 4,348,000 views.
That's great.
Woohoo.
Who is right?
Yeah, that is really exciting. And it just keeps growing. And the shows are just get more and more views every time we do it. It's like a snowball effect. Yeah. And but it's a constant. It's constant work too. I mean,
we call it feeding the monster.
Yeah, you got to constantly keep putting videos out there. You got to keep putting content. You got to be consistent on your show. You got to do everything. And if you slack on any of that, you'll see that it'll reflect in the numbers.
Absolutely.
So we really work hard at it because it's important. I mean, we think that it can be the next level of our business will take us to the next level by having this thing successful and having the retail side of what we have here. We have an enviable position that we're not just in our basement doing this show. We actually have a business that benefits from being able to put the cars out there on the show. So, I mean, it's a huge deal. And,
I mean, we are visual. There's so much eye candy in this place, it's hard to believe. So,
well, and we've been thinking of what to call it. Is it a show? Is it a podcast? No, it's a video podcast.
Like Netflix just said they're going to start doing video podcasts.
And we saw that and we went, well, there's an easy, simple name that we should have thought of.
So where are you?
Years ago.
Yep. Why is the phone not ringing Netflix?
Where is Netflix? Yeah. So, but I think that there's just a lot of opportunity left with it. We're only scratching the surface.
Yep.
And for the first 2 years, we didn't even hardly scratch the surface, and we were still having fun, and still people were watching and paying attention. So, and we've tried traditional radio, and it sort of didn't work.
Right.
We've tried, an online radio format that sort of didn't work, but it seems to be the YouTube and then the Buzzsprout where we have our traditional podcast, just the audio part of it, are working very well. We're over, 6,000?
Yep, almost 7,000.
7,000 downloads.
And we started that late.
Yeah, very late. And we're tracking it very late because prior to us, when we kind of took everything back over ourselves, we were doing some stuff not in-house. We weren't able to track all the numbers. We didn't have control of our own destiny. So we decided to figure that wasn't going to work. So it works out great. So when we return, we will be joined by our guest, Keith Martin, publisher of Sports Car Market Magazine, on our weekly summit. Our weekly what?
Summit? We're summit. It's a
summit.
Another summit meeting.
He's at the top of his building, so it is a summit.
It is a summit. So we'll see you in just a couple minutes.
The Classic Auto Mall has more than 1,000 vehicles for consignment in our huge 8-acre climate-controlled showroom. It's a real indoor mall. If you'd like to know all the advantages of buying and selling a car through consignment, the information is available on our website, or you can talk to a classic car specialist who can answer all your questions. It's easy, safe, convenient, and it doesn't matter where you are. We sell worldwide. See our huge selection of classic and collectible vehicles at classicautomall.com.
And we're back with the Classic Auto Mall show from the Classic Auto Mall studio in Morgantown, Pennsylvania, joined by our friend Keith Martin, publisher of Sports Car Market Magazine. Good evening, Keith.
Yeah, good morning,
Morning. I don't know what day it is anymore. So, how you been? Everything good?
Everything's good. We shipped as I told you last week, the December issue of our 37th year.
Do you get to take a break? Do you take a breather? Or do you say, okay, now we got a little breathing?
I did that Friday.
And then that's it. Then Monday, it's all over.
This week we started on issue number 1, year 38.
38. 40 will be here before we know it, won't it?
40 will be here, and we'll have a celebration. Maybe you and I could do a double extended session.
I think we should absolutely do that. I think that is. But go ahead and put that on the calendar, guys. That'll do. We'll have to remember that. We should definitely do that in a special anniversary. We'll have cake and cup, ice cream and all that other stuff. So,
and you and I can do 40 1-minute segments of what really matters in the collector car world.
Ooh, are we prepared to retire immediately after that? Because we may just make everybody in the whole hobby mad.
Either that, or we will charge $1 each for people to watch it.
I like that. I like that even better. So we do that times how many people? Yeah, there'd be some, almost enough to run away to. Well, you don't want to run away to Jamaica, but anywhere else, whew, man, they got pounded. Isn't that awful?
Yeah, they got pounded.
And we'll lose more collector cars because of that, because there's collector cars on the island that will, it's amazing the attrition that happens in the hobby that you just forget about. You think, oh, natural disasters are one of the biggest enemies to the hobby, or the biggest friend if you're a guy who has something really rare and there's only 10 of them left and 8 of them perish.
I was watching a car on Bring a Trailer. It was a Ferrari 400i, and it said, water only came up to the rockers at the flood.
I love the explanation for flood damage titles where it says flood damage. The guy said, no, we just left the top down and it rained on it a little bit. No, they don't flood damage it for that. So
I don't think it affected the electrics.
No, at all. No, because they're not affected by anything like that. So bringing your blog to life is what we do every week. And this week, the title to your blog is The Leaf Blower 10,000. Are we racing leaf blowers?
I know. I couldn't resist. Could you?
No, I love that. Absolutely love it.
Basically, what I was reflecting on was that there seemed to be more and more of these kind of casual tours popping up.
Right.
So on the one hand, you got the California Millie at $15,000, and then you have the Leaf Flogger 1000 at $40.
Right. And it doesn't necessarily mean where you are economically, where you can participate in one of those. You can be the rich guy and have your nice car and still go to the $40 one. You're not going to be ashamed to be there. And of course, you can't take your AMC Pacer to the Mille Miglia either.
I've had 2 AMC Pacers.
Well, I got to write that down, so I'll never forget that.
And I sold one to McKeel Haggerty, who then customized it.
Oh, no. Does he still have it, I wonder?
I don't know. Or does he? Would he admit to it?
Right. It's buried in the back 40, as they used to say.
Yeah. No, I think there's from the response I got to my blog, there are enough people who are tired of cars and coffee not having any driving.
Right.
Because it's a sedentary event. You arrive, you walk around, you kick tires, you go home.
Yeah.
So the question I have is whether we could do a once a month, run what you brung. An event, say that was a 2 or 2.5 hour drive to a lunch, and then you're done.
I love that. I think that's a brilliant idea because people are very protective of their time and the time that they allot certain things and family time and all that and is important. And if you play golf, it's 5.5 hours. And if you do a regular tour, it's like you said, it's a week or 10 days or whatever. And nobody has that kind of free time anymore.
I also think people like driving their cars.
Well, true that. Yeah, that's no question about that at all.
And now we have the question, the weather's turned bad. And so do we have coupes only? Do you have your bad weather classic car?
Or you could have your Jeep Grand Wagoneer from 1989 or 91 for the last year of them. Or you could have an old Scout, or you could have an old Bronco. Maybe we could theme every month,
just once a month and casual and, just somebody produce a route list.
Yeah. October, you do orange and black cars only. So you got the whole Halloween theme.
Good idea.
Yes. Well, I'm full of these good ideas, Keith.
Yeah. I just think it's okay for us to figure out something that's a little bit out of the box and that's really easy. This leaf flogger thing starts at 10 a.m.
Yeah, not at the crack of dawn. You don't have to be there at 6 a.m. You start and around here, no different than around where you live. There's wonderful roads. There's so many wonderful routes that you could take. You could do 100 of these and do a different route every time and never hardly cross the same road.
I agree with that.
Yeah. So your part of the world is the same way. There's wonderful roads, and it could be quite a little movement. And maybe you become part of the club, and you're a card carrying member, and you come, when you can. And how fun would that be? I think this sounds like fun, and just another thing on our plate to deal with, right?
Yeah, I was going to ask you to just take care of it.
Okay, I'll spearhead this.
We'll send out the email.
Well, I'll send one too. We have a few emails as well.
The danger part here at this time of year is wet leaves on the road.
Oh, yeah. Now, so it might be something interesting that you could have somebody run the route the morning of and text everybody any alerts that were along the way, be it a tree falling across the road or leaves on the ground or something like that, where you would have somebody who could do a little reconnaissance that morning.
And I belong to the Range Rover Club here, and my favorite thing about that club is that people carry chainsaws on our runs.
Because they know.
Because that kind of thing happens.
It happens. It's not just like a once in a lifetime event. It happens a lot. Enough where you say, right. Boy, I'm going to need a chainsaw. I tell you, I'm not a huge fan of electric vehicles, but you know what I'm a huge fan of that's electric? Appliances, things like that. I am so thankful that I don't have to stand there for 30 minutes to crank my leaf blower 1000 to get it going with that gas engine, and I'm over there I'm mad. It's nice that it just turns on automatically.
I'm happy for you.
You don't own a leaf blower, do you?
I don't. I live in a condo.
I know. Well, you got to get the leaves off that balcony somehow.
Yeah, I know. I'm working on it.
Well, keep me posted on that. So I like that idea, and I think, like you said, or like we said, you kind of theme it to do these once a month or once a week or once every 2 weeks rallies, and then and the restaurant would love it. You go to some different restaurant every time. And
and you get the car clubs involved. So, if you get 7 or 8 people from the Jag Club, from the Alpha Club, from the Porsche Club, you've got enough right there.
That's plenty. 30, 40 cars is probably, you would probably want to cap it at about that. You're not many restaurants will be able to take you on a Sunday anyway, at noon after church and all that good stuff. But I really like that idea. I think that because, like you said, the Cars and Coffee is static, and that's why people don't normally stick around. I mean, I'll take a Cars and Coffee over a traditional car show any day because I'm not going to stand there from 8 o'clock in the morning until 4 o'clock in the afternoon, regardless. Yeah. And then the evolution is the Cars and Coffee, where you're there for as long as you want. You want to be there an hour or 2 or whatever, and that's fine. This is evolution number 3, where we say, instead, it's going to be a Cars and Coffee, but we gather for a few minutes, and then away we go.
Yeah, you just need a dedicated person assigned to it.
Yeah. So, Keith, is that you? See, I was trying to throw it back on you.
Right after our 40th anniversary.
Okay. All right. We'll plan on that. Somebody will have stolen our idea by then. So, and hey, you know what? I don't put ideas out there unless I'm okay if somebody steals the idea and does it.
These guys can steal it, go broke, and then we can pick up the pieces.
We can pick up for pennies on the dollar.
We can buy all their little signs and buttons and hats and things really cheap.
Yeah, isn't that the truth? These poor guys put so much money into some of that stuff. They don't realize that even putting on a little event like that doesn't sound like much is a lot more work and expense than you realize.
Well, we did 4 SCM 1000s, 3 or 4. And by the last one, it was post-COVID. The cost of hospitality and swag and room and all that, it was costing us $400,000 to put on the route.
Yeah, it's just not worth it. I mean, it's as much as we love this thing, we have to make sure that the bottom line is not completely obliterated.
Yep. Yeah. And you have to find a balance between, do people want a 5-star hotel or do they just want a great road?
Yeah. I mean, how many nights in a row can you eat, lobster Newburgh? Well, I don't know why I said that, but you know what I mean? How many nights a week can you eat a rich food 5-star restaurant without just being completely miserable for the rest of the month?
Yeah, or needing overload springs on your car.
Yeah, exactly. Especially, so, that's funny that you mentioned that. We talk about all the time about the right car for the right person. And we had a guy the other day who was like 6'8" and was interested in one of our smaller cars. And I said, the first thing I said to the guys was, you better have him sit in it because there's no sense in wasting time with him because he's probably not going to fit in it. And now you've wasted his time and our time. And lo and behold, they said, why don't you sit in it first? And it was too big for you. You got to have the right car. If you haven't had an opportunity, even if you're buying something long distance, find a club, find somebody local where you can go and actually sit in one of them and make sure that it feels right to you. Doesn't mean it's going to be the exact same car, but whether it's too big, too small, whatever, what have you. That's
one of the strange things in our business, Stewart, is that we so rarely test drive before we buy.
I'm guilty of it too. I mean, I went and bought a BMW M3 at the local dealer. and didn't even test drive it. My wife said, are you stupid? I mean, it's right here. They're offering you a test drive and you're telling them no. I said, I know I want it. I don't want it to change. I don't want to drive it and change my mind at this point in time. I've made the commitment. I'm going to buy it. I wanted it. So I'm not going to let some pesky, I don't like the way it drives get in the way of that.
I used to do car inspections for people, and I'd go look at a car and I'd say, well, it's got some rust and it's got this, and the client would say to me, are you trying to bust my deal?
I want to buy this car. Don't ruin it for me. Tell me it's all perfect.
Away.
I'm never going to see the underside of this thing anyway, so it won't matter. So anyway, as always, a pleasure to have you on. And
my treat.
Yeah, we will look forward, Keith, to seeing you next week on the Classic Car Show.
And thanks for signing up to sponsor these tours.
We're trying to think of a new thing to call our show, and we can't quite figure it out. So just the Classic Car Show, so it's so generic that nobody will ever remember it.
Not the Leaf Blower 1000.
Probably not. We'll see you next week, Keith Martin. Take care.
Here's a special offer from Sports Car Market Magazine. Get a 6-month subscription for just $19.95 by going to sportscarmarket.com/test drive and the number 6. That's sportscarmarket.com/test drive 6. If you're a buyer, a seller, or just general classic car enthusiast, publisher Keith Martin says,
we've been around almost 40 years. It's the Wall Street Journal of the collector car world.
Activate your 6-month trial of Sports Car Market Magazine by going to sportscarmarket.com/test drive 6. Offers for a limited time. Be in the know with Sports Car Market. The Classic Auto Mall Show with their host, Stewart Howden. Executive producer, Steve Sethier. Produced and engineered by yours truly, J.R. Russ. Video editor, Randy Lammy. Available on ClassicAutomall.com, YouTube, or wherever you get your podcasts. Music courtesy of the Pat Travers Band. For tour dates, contact, and stuff, visit PatTravers.com. Produced by Car Smarts Media. Copyright all rights reserved.